Hi, everybody. My name is Nanika Edwards. I am a poet, author, artist, and educator or teacher from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. In this video, I'll be teaching you about a special poetic device called dun, 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 hyperbole. What is hyperbole? Do you know? Have you ever heard that word before? Okay, so let's break this word down. It comes from Greek and it's made up of two main parts, hyper plus bole. I'm not sure how it's pronounced in Greek, but in English, the two parts would be hyper plus bole. Hyper means that something is, what do you think? What what do you think of when you hear the word hyper? I'm willing to bet that if you're a pretty energetic child, that your parents probably use that word with you a lot. They probably say things like, "Why are you being so hyper?" Or "You're pretty hyper." I won't give you too many sweets today. No sugar right now, or else you'll be too hyper. What does hyper mean? It means like extra, a little over the top, a little too much, a little too much, right? So hyper means extra, a lot, um, a little too much, like excess. That's hyper. Boli, apparently from the Greek, means to throw. I'm looking at a dictionary right now. Very easy for you if you want to, when you come across new words, just check a dictionary to find out where the word comes from. That way, you'll have a better understanding of English language. Anyway, hyperbole is a fancy word for exaggeration or to exaggerate. Have you heard those words before? Exaggerate or exaggeration? Can you say what they mean in your own words? You can pause the video and then continue. What does it mean to exaggerate? It means to make something seem a little too big or a little too small, really, really, really overly hot or really overly cold. Exaggerate means upsizing or downsizing in quantity, quality, so that you can emphasize something, so that you can make a point. Sometimes people exaggerate to lie, right? So people use exaggeration for different reasons. But in the world of writing, hyperbole or exaggeration is used as a poetic device to emphasize how big or small something is, to make it seem bigger, smaller, colder, taller, whatever you want to make it, right? And you may ask, well, why do we use the word hyperbole instead of just exaggeration? Well, as the saying goes, there are many roads to Rome. Are you hearing those dogs barking in the background? I think they're being a little too much. What do you think? Anyway, yeah, why do we use the word hyperbole when we could just say exaggerate or exaggeration? Well, that's because as people, as human beings, we have a beautiful gift called language that makes us different from creatures of the animal kingdom, right? So when we have language, we can say the same thing in many different ways very often. And so, and so you can say exaggerate or exaggeration, but hyperbole is a little fancier, right? So, hyperbole, if you use the word hyperbole, you will sound a little more sophisticated, and it's a more technical term that you can use as a writer. If you use this word hyperbole, for example, if you say, in my poem, the main poetic device is hyperbole. If you say that instead of, in my poem, I exaggerated a lot. Well, if you use the first option with hyperbole, I can guarantee you that you're going to impress a lot of people. And there's nothing wrong with using exaggerate or exaggeration, but when you can use the proper technical terminology, you will sound a lot more like an expert. Of course, there's nothing wrong with using the word exaggerate or exaggeration. A lot of times, you can decide which one you're going to use based on your audience. For example, if you're speaking to a group of kids, a class of young kids, you might want to use the word exaggerate. If you're speaking to a group of writers or adults, you might want, as a child anyway, you may want to use the word hyperbole. However, even if you're speaking to a group of children, but you would like to teach them the technical term, that's fine as well, because children can handle vocabulary like that, okay? So it's your choice. It's your choice. It really does not change the price of tea in China. It's not that important, okay? Anyway, um, that's just a longish introduction to hyperbole. And here you can see an example of hyperbole being used in a saying or a short, very short poem. Can you hear my fridge? It just started making kind of funny noise there. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyway, um, this is a short saying that I composed, and it has a hyperbole in it. See if you can spot the hyperbole. Remember, a hyperbole is something that is really over the top, like extra, a little too much. Excess, excessively something or the other, right? Okay, so my decision is not yours to make. To you, it's teeny. To me, it's a Tyrannosaurus quake. Let me say that again. My decision is not yours to make. To you, it's teeny. To me, it's a Tyrannosaurus quake. Okay, did you spot the hyperbole? If you guessed that it's a Tyrannosaurus quake, then you get the trophy today. You get the prize. You get the gold medal. Okay, so yes, it's a Tyrannosaurus quake. So what am I saying when I say my decision is a Tyrannosaurus quake? What is a Tyrannosaurus? Correct. It's a huge dinosaur, right? So could you imagine if a dinosaur comes stomping by? It might create an earthquake if it's big enough, or it might feel that way. You might feel the ground is shaking, right? So, and thankfully, we don't have dinosaurs today because that would be pretty scary, right? But anyway, um, when I say that my decision is a Tyrannosaurus quake, what do you think I'm saying? What do you think I'm trying to say? Exactly. I'm saying that my decision is a really, 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 really big one. And by big one, what do I mean? It's very, very important to me, right? So, for example, you may find that you have a decision to make, and it may not be important to somebody else, but it may be very important to you. So, for example, let's say your birthday is coming up, and your parents have given you a choice of have decided, well, they've decided to let you choose your own cake. And for you, it's like, wow, you want to make sure you choose the cake that you really, really, really want to have. And let's say your parents give you some options or something. And let's say more than one of the options actually appeals to you. It's something that you might like. Like, gosh, I really want the carrot cake, but I really like strawberry shortcake, and I really like velvet cake, and I really like cheesecake, and I really like pound cake. And let's say you love all of those options, but the birthday that's coming up is really, really special to you, right? And one of your friends might tell you, hey, just pick one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just pick one. And you're like, no, this is my 10th. This is going to be my 10th birthday. This is my last birthday between the numbers 1 and 10. This will be me saying farewell to the first decade of my life. And after this birthday, I won't be in primary school anymore. I'll be a big girl going to high school. And I really want to make sure that I never forget this birthday, that I make some beautiful memories. So the cake has to be perfect. My decision is not yours to make. To you, it's teeny. To me, it's a Tyrannosaurus quake, right? So you see how you can use that. So that's an example of hyperbole. Is hyperbole something that you use a lot when you write stories or when you write poetry or stories that are poems or stories that are written in prose? Do you use hyperbole a lot? Well, if you don't, you can. And if you do, that's great. So I hope that this video was useful for you. And if you enjoyed it, thank you so much for giving it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this and get notifications when I share them here on YouTube, then please subscribe. Until next time.